Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the coilovers I went with and decided to go with were the FactionFab FL-Spec coilovers version 2. So I'm going to go a little bit and talk about why I chose these coilovers on or opposed to choosing some other brands and all that, and also go through talking about the ride height, the damping settings, a little bit of everything. Just kind of go through all the things and features that are also on these coilovers, and also compare a little bit to some coilovers I've ran, or the previous coilovers I ran on my other STI. That's one reason, or the main reason, why I kind of went with the FactionFab coilovers. Basically, I ran those coilovers, so I ran the F-Spec coilovers on my 2013 STI. They were pretty, that's like the basic version you can really get out of those FactionFab. So they have three main ones: the F-Spec, FR-Spec, and FL-Spec. So that is currently what I'm running right now. And so that's, like I said, that's the main reason why I chose the FactionFab coilovers. It's because I ran them on my 2013 STI and I enjoyed them. I had them on for 4 years, so they were still in good condition. They weren't blowing out, or how would you say it, wearing out or anything. They were still as good as it was the first day I installed them. To kind of compare the other versions, so I know F-Spec, like I said, that's pretty much the basic version that you can get out of the FactionFab coilovers. And then the FR-Spec, they're more track oriented. I know the spring rates are a little bit stiffer or higher. I'm not quite sure what the rates are. I think it's around 11 or 10 kgs or whatever. And then obviously the FL-Spec. When they released the FL-Spec, it was mainly for those that wanted a lower ride height. So I know when I first bought the F-Spec coilovers on the 2013 STI, the FL-Specs weren't out yet. So they only had the two coilovers there at the time, so the F and the FR-Spec. But then I think like a year or two later, they released the FL-Spec, and that's kind of how it went as far as what I wanted to get out of the coilover. So that's why I chose the FL-Spec, to have more adjustability with the ride height, considering I know I maxed out in the rears on my previous STI, and honestly I wish it would have gone more to get the ride height I wanted. But obviously at the time they didn't have the FL-Spec coilovers, and yeah, I probably could have gone with a different brand at the time, so that way I could have gone lower. But I wanted to try it out at the time. They were budget friendly, so that's why I went with the FactionFab coilovers at the time. So if you can see here, obviously the top hats, they got the camber adjustments there. I haven't really messed with it. I just kind of pushed it over to the left more, and I know there's more holes here, so if you wanted more camber, depending positive or negative, you can actually take one of these out, go closer there, so that way you're able to push even further in or further out depending on what camber you are wanting. So that's kind of that. And then obviously you got the damping adjustment there. To kind of discuss about the damping settings, I kind of went in the middle with the setup here. So they are 32-way adjustable, so I set them to 16. And so far they ride pretty nice. If anything, I think they ride a little bit softer than the teen springs that were on the car, so I actually enjoy this a little bit more better. So once again, I'm not rubbing, or how would I say, the fenders aren't rolled, nothing is going crazy, no clunking noises. It's kind of hard to say as far as how long they'll last, because obviously I ran it for 4 years, and they were still good. I know there's coilovers out there that can get rebuilt and all that, but I mean 4 years is a long time. And even then, I know for those 4 years, 2 of the years or so I was daily in the car. So I mean, maybe that kind of gives you a show of how durable they still are, and if you want to daily the car or whatever. But I don't have any intentions to really drive this car through winter, obviously, and even right now, it's pretty much a weekend car, or even after work, I'll drive it, but it's not something I commute to work and around town. I thought about doing an install video, but to be honest, I mean, it would have been, I was actually struggling actually on the front a little bit, just removing the whole assembly itself, since it's the stock shocks and then the lowering springs. But it was kind of a struggle to kind of get them out, but I mean, I managed to do it. So, but other than that, I mean, we can take a look at the ride height and what I'm running right now. Currently, this is where it sits. From what my measurements are, from the bottom of the lip of the wheel to the fender is right around 22 inches, 3/4 or so. And I did that all around the car here, so that way it looks pretty evened out. And the front does have a little bit negative camber. Let's look at the side view here. So you can kind of tell it's kind of tucked in there. And once I do get an alignment, I might try to push them out back to normal again, or I don't know. I know my previous STI, I ran -2 in the front, and that was fine, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really give you any excessive tire wear there, and obviously the tow is 0 from what you should do. But looking at the rear, tell there you go. So that's the look I want. Basically getting the fender to pretty much be close to the tire there. Once again, the fenders aren't rolled at all. I'm not rubbing. Even at full turns on the front, I'm not scraping the fender liners or anything like that. So this is probably a good height if you're considering any type of coilovers. But then once again, these are 19-inch wheels. So if I do want to get some wheels in the future and downgrade back to like 18s or something, I probably will have to adjust the height, but I still have plenty to adjust. I mean, these aren't even maxed out yet, and I know, once again, that's kind of the reason why I went with the FL-Spec, because they give you that adjustability to go even lower, and I think it's about 4 inches lower compared to the other FactionFab Coilovers. I think the other ones are probably right around 3 inches or so, give or take. But that's pretty much it for that. Discussing the spring rates. The spring rates on the FL-Spec, I believe, are 9 kgs in the front and then 8.5 kgs in the rear. So that's kind of the setup there as far as the spring rates. I know the F-Specs are right around 8, and that's 8 all around. And then if I said before the FR specs, I think they're right around the 10 or 11 kg. So those are the ones that are probably more track oriented. But and once again, I think if you do want the coilovers, or these coilovers, these are the ones to go if you want the ride height. Also, the springs are a little bit stiffer than the F-Spec, and they do have the camber adjustable top hats. Because I know the F-Spec, the basic version, doesn't have the top hats for camber adjustment, so you won't really have much to adjust there besides the upper camber bolts on the suspension itself. So when I did the install for the camber bolt, I kind of just marked where it was previously and just kind of lined it up to where it was, so that way when I do go get the alignment, it won't be too bad, or how would I say it, make it difficult to adjust, because I feel like it's right on or pretty close to where it's at, because everything is pretty straight. My steering wheel isn't like crooked or anything really, but I can tell the camber is there from my previous setup on the car. And I know this area is a little bit tight, so you can't really tell, but once again, it's a little bit cambered in. But I do feel like the driver's side is a little bit more in, maybe by like a half degree or so, I don't know. But like I said, I think I do want to kind of push these back out a little bit, so that way they're pretty close to the fender. I don't know how much room I got here. It's literally like enough to fit a finger between the fenders. So maybe I'll leave it where it's at. So maybe I will run like -2 or match the cambers with the rear, because I don't have any adjustable camber arms for the rear. So looking under there when I did the install. But if I wanted to, then I mean, yeah, I can adjust the rear camber. But I do like where the rear camber is at. I don't know if I got some toe in there, but once I get that adjusted, I mean, that'll fix that issue. I'm gonna let these coilovers settle a little bit. It's only literally been like 2 days since the install, and I did drive around and whatnot and did some remeasuring, and everything seems to be about the same so far. But I don't know how much they'll really settle. I'm just expecting at least 1/8 to 1/4 inch. I'm gonna wait at least about 2 weeks. I don't know if that's the time frame a lot of people like to do before they go get an alignment, and most of the time the car is sitting here. So it's either you drive a certain amount of miles or about 2 weeks. So whatever comes first. So I'll probably set up my alignment appointment here in the next week or so to get that done. And also on a side note, I know I try to keep up with a lot of videos or making videos. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do, or sometimes just more of like, you know, you just want to enjoy life and enjoy the car. So I just got to put the camera down and just do what you got to do sometimes. But, you know, when I do release videos, I try to keep it pretty informative. You know, I'm probably just like any other you guys, you know, when you browse through YouTube, watching videos on certain things or cars or whatever you guys are into. So that's kind of my little rant there. But other than that, I feel like I discussed everything about the coilovers, on why I went with them. I mean, like I said, price point is a good one. Second, they do have a pretty low adjustability if you want. And third, I mean, based on my experience, I had them for 4 years once again on the other STI, and they held up pretty well. So that's that. And then I guess maybe another fourth reason would be these are the version 2, so they got a little bit of a upgrade on certain things. I know, once again, let's look at top hats here. I know on my previous STI, this was more like actual paint. I don't know if this is like more of a powder coating or if it's anodized or something, but that seems to maybe last a while, because on my other STI, the paint was kind of flaking a little bit. So they kind of upgraded that, it looks like. So that's kind of nice in that aspect for the quality there. Another thing, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, everything bolts up fine. They do have it for, as far as STIs, I think they have it for all the generations. So that's mainly the only cars they really sell out there for the coilovers on these brands. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Any suggestions, leave some comments below. I'll try to answer all of them. Usually I do. And if you have any other, once again, suggestions or questions, feel free to ask. But go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.